The man now wandered the desolate world, forever alone. He had tried to take his own life several times, but each time he was unable to die. Perhaps a sick and twisted curse given to him by the entity behind all of this. After a forgotten amount of time of his painful existence, he came across an artifact, strange and egg-shaped, and as he held the artifact in his hands, he wished that he could go back in time and prevent all of this. But as he opened his eyes, he had saw that the egg had granted his wish. He was back before the destruction and could have a second chance to warn everyone of what was to come. Hello and welcome to the latest instalment of Shepard's Quest as we review the most beloved instalment of the Mass Effect series, Mass Effect 2. The game takes place just after the first game, which, funnily enough, you can actually download your information from the first game that alters certain events in this game to correspond with them. But if you don't, those events will be randomised. The Normandy is attacked by a mysterious and unfamiliar ship, and while some of the crew manage to escape, the rest of the crew die in the destruction of the ship, seemingly including Commander Shepard himself. But before you can make some joke about that being a quick game, the story then takes a 2-year time skip to see Shepard waking up, having been brought back from the dead. How is this possible, you may be wondering?
With science, of course!
However, the facility is being overrun by robots, and Shepard has to escape alongside one of the soldiers working at the facility and the woman in charge of the facility that was responsible for his resurrection. He finds out that the group responsible for his resurrection is a human supremacist group by the name of Cerberus, that you briefly encountered in one of the side quests in the first game. The leader of the group, the Elusive Man, informs Shepard that the reason he brought him back to life is to help him defeat a group of aliens called the Collectors. The reason he wants you to go after this species is recently they've been abducting entire human colonies for an unknown reason, and he suspects that they might be working for the Reapers. As this, the Elusive Man doesn't exactly trust the Council to take care of this, he sends Shepard off along with his 2 new companions and a recently commissioned and improved Normandy 2 to recruit a team and use them to take down the Collectors. While the priority is to build your team, you can technically go after the Collectors without them, but it would exactly be a good idea. Fortunately for you, the Elusive Man has marked their location on your planetary map. So all you have to do is travel to the designated location, encounter them, and help them out with whatever they are doing in order to recruit them. Garrus and Tali return from the first game to be recruited into your team. But apart from them, your entire team is made up of new characters including a Salarian scientist with questionable ethics, a genetically engineered Krogan clone designed to be the ultimate Krogan warrior, a failed biotically enhanced super soldier who has turned to crime, an Asari crime-fighting vigilante, an alien assassin who is slowly dying of a terminal disease, and a friendly Geth by the name of Legion that you encounter whilst trying to find something that can help you get to the Collector homeworld. There's also an additional party member that you can get in one of the DLCs. Whilst on your travels, you occasionally come into conflict with the Collectors, and on one occasion you find out that they were once Protheans who were genetically re-engineered by the Reapers and are completely under their control. With your team completed, your ship fully upgraded, and a method to get to the Collector homeworld finally found, Shepard decides that this is the perfect moment to take himself and the rest of his team off the ship for no apparent reason. And when you know it, as soon as he comes back, he finds that the Collectors have abducted almost all of his crew, giving him extra incentive to get to the Collector homeworld as soon as possible. And this is where you begin the infamous suicide mission, where you haven't fully upgraded your ship, completed your team building, or allocated those teammates to the right tasks, then there's a good chance some of your teammates might die. And if you completely fucked up your preparations and task delegations, then there's a good chance that all of your team will die, including Shepard himself. Either way, you find out that the reason the collectors have been abducting all these people is to liquefy them and then inject this juice into a special Reaper human hybrid that they've been creating. And after cutting off its supply of human juice, you fight it in a cinematically impressive, if mechanically underwhelming boss fight, and after that you're given a choice of whether to blow up the collector homeworld or to leave it intact to be salvaged by Cerberus to use its technology for the benefit of mankind. Either way, Shepard escapes the homeworld unless he's completely fucked up. And the last thing you see is a cinematic revealing that the Reapers are quickly approaching the solar system. And end credits. The game still takes the form of a third-person shooter for the most part, but it has cut down on the RPG elements a bit. And the combat, while simpler, is a lot more fun and streamlined than before. Unlike the previous game where you had to switch out your weapons and armour for new ones, now you just collect mods that upgrade certain aspects of your armour and weapon types, and there is a lot more variety in the weapons you have this time around as well. Thankfully, the Mako sections have been completely dropped for this game. Instead, you just go to planets and just scan them and shoot probes at them for resources. Yay! But this game does a generally better job at side quests, character loyalty missions, dialogue choices and character interactions. Additionally, they have added optional QuickTime events designated to either Paragon or Renegade actions that give you points appropriate for what you've done, and is a good way of getting Paragon or Renegade points outside the standard Paragon and Renegade dialogue options. However, the disparity between the option you choose and what the character actually says is a bit more noticeable in this game.
Give me a name or I'll cut your balls off and sell them to a Krogan.
Okay, Shepard, we get the point, just please calm down. While the graphics are only technically slightly better than the previous game, the way they're handled and the level layout in general is a lot more aesthetically pleasing than its predecessor, as the level's layout and appearance generally feel a lot better and a lot less repetitive than Mass Effect 1. The soundtrack is also still really good, although a certain section of the Suicide Missions theme sounds oddly familiar. This game does have a few issues, such as the disparity between dialogue options, the lack of explorable worlds compared to its predecessor, and not everyone's going to be happy about the stripping back and simplifying of gameplay in some places. It overall takes a lot more steps forward than it does back. And alongside its shitload of DLC, I can definitely see why this game is the most revered among its Mass Effect brethren. Well, that's all from me. Signing out.